Hi, my name is Amber, and this is my digital literacy, and I'm going to talk about my love for anything Macintosh. So, I think where it stems from is when I was little, our first computer that my parents bought was an Apple, and it was really weird because at that time nobody really had them. So, I remember being at school and having the regular PCs and with the mouse and having the right lift left click and stuff like that, and having that whole setup and having the start bar. And so when my dad brings this home, I had no idea how to use it. So we had it, and I ended up falling in love with it because it was just so different. It was so different from the one we had at schools, and it was probably the fact that we had just having a computer at home, but I fell in love with this thing. And I remember the day it died, I was so upset. And so we ended up getting rid of it, and we ended up getting a Dell, and we've had that for a really long time. But I always remembered that for a while I don't remember hearing anything about Apple, and they were hiding, and it wasn't as mainstream as it is now. And I remember what really got me back into Apple was the whole iPod thing. And it's probably usual for everyone my age. I loved music. I had CDs, and oh my god, I had CDs all over the place, and I would make CDs like crazy. And I remember going through so many Discmen and CD players, and just destroying them because me being a child, not the smartest thing. Me being a teen, not the smartest thing. So I would break the CDs, and I was just going through them like crazy. And this was around the time of the whole downloading music thing, where everyone was downloading all these songs, and so many songs, and so you'd end up putting them on a disc. So I remember we had heard of MP3s, and we had heard of MP3 players, but it really wasn't a big thing. It wasn't something that everybody had one like it is now. And I remember hearing about the iPod, and once I saw the website for it, I was like, oh my god, I have to have this. And I remember convincing my parents I'll never have to get another CD, we don't have to buy CDs anymore, you don't have to worry about me throwing these CDs all over the place like I was. So I remember eventually for my, I want to say 15th birthday, they bought me one, and I still remember it to this day. It was the old school black and white, white cover, none of this whole cover art thing, none of this color anything. It wasn't old enough where it had the buttons on top, but it was the ones where the button was on the wheel. But I remember I was in love with this thing. Oh, I was absolutely in love with this thing. And I remember at the time thinking, oh my god, this thing could hold 5,000 songs. I couldn't even think of 1,000 to put on it. But I seriously, if this would have died, I was in love with this thing. I took it with me everywhere. I got a special blue and white case for it, and it was a time where I remember getting mine, and then a couple months later a whole bunch of people getting theirs, but it was still not as crazy as it is now. And I seriously had that thing all through high school. Just seriously kept it. Surprised it didn't break. Nothing ever happened to it. And then when I decided, when I was coming to Syracuse, I had to get a laptop. And I remember my parents saying which one do you want? They're oh, do you want this HP? Do you want this Dell? Which one do you want? And I was I had my heart set on a MacBook. Oh my god, I had my heart set on the black MacBook, and I was gonna get it no matter what. And my parents were we don't really know anybody with a Mac. We used to have one, but we don't know what to do. And I was no, I'm getting this one. I have to have it. Because I remember always going into the Apple store and falling in love with the MacBooks, and falling in love with the iMacs and everything. So I remember a couple months before I had to go away to college, my dad was alright, let's go buy your computer. So I remember going into the Apple store, and I literally was I want to buy a Mac, and they're awesome, which one do you want? And all I had to do was point at the black one, and then at that time they were giving away free iPods with their computer if you were a student. And they're what color iPod do you want? And I got a brand new iPod Nano, the blue one or something crazy. And they literally just packed it up and gave it to me, and it was like so much easier because like I'm so used to hearing my friends who had the regular PCs and they had to like take forever to pick it out and pick out the color, or not even pick out the color, just pick out the stuff that went with it. And so I thought it was awesome that I could just pick mine out, and it was perfect. And I've been like in love with this thing ever since. Like I seriously can't go anywhere without my baby Mac, but I love it. And that was, my whole story with my baby Mac, and even now I'm obsessed with it. As you can see, I'm filming this video on this right now, but I can't see myself without it. And I can definitely say that you always hear those people that are like, I'm a PC. Well, I'm a Mac.